Hello friends. Today I'm going to be telling you about the most important news item of the 21st century. And it might be something that you might have missed, but I think you're going to be hearing about it big time in the future. The subject is David Grush's testimony during the UFO hearing at Congress at the end of July of 2023. There have been a lot of news items over the years about UFOs that have popped up here and there in the news media, but this was the first that hit all around the globe. Now, the news that he talked about, which will be revealed to you when he's talking in the media coming up, it was not new to me because I have been reading up on the UFO community's literature for years. I've read a lot of books, listened to a lot of podcasts. Most of us have already bought into the type of stuff that he's talking about. But it's new for the news media to actually take this seriously and to be propagating this as something to be taken as something really worth looking at. I'm going to start out in this video talk today with some news clippings that I have taken images down of from all over the world, and you'll see at the bottom all the countries that they're coming from, because you can't always tell from the clippings up there. Singapore, Australia, Germany, it's all there. Following that, you'll be seeing actual news video clips of the hearing of him being interrogated by Congress. Now, at this point, I want to say something about Congress, because if there's anything that shows how important this is the fact that this was the first time in my adult lifetime that I have ever seen both sides of Congress come together on the same page, looking for the same thing. It was really shocking. Here you would have AOC taking this seriously, and then you'd have Tim Burch from Tennessee, one of the most conservative congressmen in the legislature. They all are working towards the same thing. The committees are made up of both parties, and they're all working together, not fighting against each other. That's really showing how big this is. And Congress has tremendous power to do things when they can get their act together. Now, following the news clips, I will have a commentary by an interviewer named Ross Coulthart, who did an interview with David Grush shortly before this hearing on News Nation. And he is one of the most highly respected journalists from Australia who's won many prizes and awards. So let's go to these clips now.
Mr. Grush, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
How do you know?
Here's Congresswoman Nacy Mace questioning whistleblower David Grush at the hearing. Let's watch.
Do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Here's Grush saying people have actually been hurt in their efforts to cover up extraterrestrial technologies, but would not answer if people have been murdered. Let's watch.
Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would think, that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Remember that whistleblower complaint he filed? It would seem it hasn't fallen on deaf ears.
And more importantly, the Inspector General made a determination about the credibility of your complaint.
They found, after interviewing myself and the subjects and other subjects that I'm not even cognizant on who they were, they found my complaint urgent and credible for the intelligence committees.
An official investigatory body of the United States government has determined that your allegations are credible.
Correct.
So nothing to add.
Mr. Grush, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all very much. Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate, as they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have you heard?
Well, Brian, as you'd know, David Grush has raised very serious allegations of possible criminality, certainly illegality, certainly misappropriation, if not fraudulent behaviour with government funds. The allegation is that essentially the wool has been pulled over the eye of Congress, that there have been lies told to oversight committees, that even potentially presidents have been misled. It really doesn't get much more serious than this. And that's why people like AOC, Tim Burchett, even Senator Marco Rubio are talking on both sides of the House about the importance of accountability, of restoring Congress's transparency and control and oversight over these programs, if they are real, to make sure that they fully comply with the congressional requirements. And the difficulty is there are people who are obviously responsible for this, who are presumably at very high positions in both the defence and intelligence community, and who also are very influential inside some of our biggest aerospace contractors. I've just had a conversation this morning with somebody who approached me on behalf of a witness, a potential witness from within the legacy program, somebody who purports to have direct knowledge of the very same program that David Grush is talking about. And they're asking my advice about how to approach. And frankly, one of the issues at the moment is that the Pentagon's UFO UAP investigation office, ARRO, it's sending out a shocking signal. It doesn't have a phone number. It doesn't have an email address. It doesn't even have a website. And its Twitter page hasn't posted a tweet since the very first tweet it posted last year.
In conclusion, I want to say that there are two things that could come out of this as far as changing people's minds. If people start buying this as something that is really real, if the news media starts propagating this for the first time as something other than just something laughable, but as something to be taken seriously, there are two things that will come out of it. The first, it will change how people view the military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned us about back in the 1950s, because they are the ones who've been keeping all of this completely secret from us, hoarding all of this knowledge just for military purposes instead of using it to the benefit of mankind, if they really are reverse engineering these vessels from another space place. And the last thing, it will change people's viewpoints about who we are as people in the universe, because for so long we have viewed ourselves as the center of the universe, alone in the universe? And how will it affect our viewpoint if all of a sudden we start recognizing the fact that there have been visitors to our planet regularly from other dimensions or other planets who have technology that makes ours look like it is from the Stone Age? This could be a big game changer in how we think about ourselves, religiously, philosophically. It could have big impact on people who really think about who they are in the world. I've enjoyed sharing with you this really amazing testimony from David Grush. I urge you to watch the whole testimony. It's on YouTube, and see what you think about it. Thank you very much.